welcome. I have not been here for a while, but I'm back officially, and I will be posting weekly videos. And I think it was good that I took a little bit of a break, even though it wasn't really a break. I have been recording here and there, but I think this is going to be my first video of 2026. And I am so excited for this year, and I'm so excited to see where it'll take me, where it'll take you. And I just want to start off by saying that I think the foundation to having a good year and having a good life really comes down to your daily habits and what you're doing on a daily basis, because the days add up to weeks, that add up to months and years, and your life. So when you really narrow down the entirety of life, you get to a single second, a single moment, this moment, right? So it's like moments like these that really add up. So I think as women, and I'll just specifically tune this to women. As a woman myself, I've noticed that in this day and age, we have such big goals and dreams, and especially if you live in Western countries, you pretty much have equal, not in all sorts of cases, like pay and all this, but like you have equal rights and you have equal opportunities as men. And this is probably the first generation in all of history, okay, that women can pretty much earn the same and do the same thing and live their best life and never rely on a man for the rest of their life. So I think that's so empowering, and that's why I'm so into just putting myself first and doing everything for myself and learning and growing and always just being so selfishly, if you want to label it that way, absorbed with my life, because my mom and my ancestors, my grandmas, they didn't have an ounce of freedom of opportunities as I do. And if you are in a similar position as me, where you're like living in a Western country and you can do anything that you want, you should be so incredibly grateful. And I hope that you put yourself first, put yourself first and really take care of yourself and do everything that you want, like everything that your heart desires, you do, and you fulfill those promises that you make to yourself. But back to what I was saying, all these seconds add up to the entirety of your life, okay? So for me, what I've really tried to do and incorporate in my daily life is I do journaling when I first wake up. I do a 5-minute journal, and then I do a regular journal. So the 5-minute journal is something you can buy off of Amazon or whatever, but you can also just kind of have a normal journal and just write down what you're grateful for, your morning affirmations, and what would make today a great day. I think those are the 3 prompts. And then you do the 5-minute journal morning and night, because there's a morning part and then there's an evening part. And then my regular journal is pretty much just thoughts, random things that float through my head in the morning. And then I do my meditations. There are multiple things and multiple meditations that I do, and I rotate off of them because I am very spontaneous, and I literally was never a habitual person in my life. Honestly, not being habitual and not having habits and not doing things is a habit in itself unconsciously, but I just was I didn't have a routine, pretty much. But I don't really like to call it a routine. I like ritual. I like romanticizing things. So, ritual. And I do my meditations on rotation, like I said. So there's some days where I do normal meditation. I don't really do guided. I just like to listen to music. And then I do room meditation on some other days. And basically, it's WOMB meditation. And I have put all the women in my life onto this, and I will try to push it to every single woman as much as I can, because once, I've done this maybe for a year, almost 9 months, I don't know, but basically your womb, okay, is where a child resides, right? If you are pregnant, and it's where you produce. Uh, it's like a portal where you produce children, okay, physically. But if you look at it spiritually, then it's basically this portal, okay, and it connects you to Mother Earth. And you might think, okay, well, that's crazy. Well, I have done womb meditation for so long that, I mean, I'm not an expert, okay? I just am a girl that likes to learn, and I just want to understand things. And so, basically, there's this one teacher, and she practices like the shamanic way of life and living, and I watch her videos all the time. I'm a regular on her channel, and she mentions how, your womb is like a cave, and when your womb is your connection to Mother Earth, and it connects you to this divine spirit, and it's this inner knowing and this intuition that all of us women have. And I think that a lot of us are so disconnected with Mother Earth and with the world because of this hectic hustle culture, and with constantly, like, sometimes when I'm not doing anything and I'm just sitting there in silence, I feel like I need to do something. It's this constant like need to just move and hustle and work, and if you're not working and you're taking breaks, which you need, you feel like you're lazy, right? And that's not okay, but that's just kind of how society is right now. And not to mention, society is incredibly patriarchal, right? We live in a world created by men for men. So as women, how can we entirely fit in? We can't, right? Like, I'm really understanding female biology in terms of like female hormones and, your circadian rhythm and your cycles and your menstrual, that's a phase in your cycle, but like your 30 to 38 day cycles and bleeding and all of this stuff. And it's very interesting that these things aren't really ever taught to us, because I feel like, our mothers don't really learn or know too much about, their female bodies, because no one taught them. So I think it's important for us to really be educated on like your hormones and your health and your meditations. And for me, like when I connect to the womb and I do these womb meditations, you can literally ask your womb questions, like yes or no questions, and you will get answers. It's actually insane. And you'll learn. I feel like your intuition just gets so much stronger, and you learn so much about yourself and about the world. And it's just a way for you to feel so connected, and you feel like you're connected to something bigger than yourself. And so I've been doing that as much as I can. Obviously, I don't do like womb meditation every day, but I try my best to rotate it into my cycle of meditations. But I do meditation every day. And my mom gifted me these like prayer beads. My whole family is Hindu, and I love Hinduism. I think it's such a beautiful religion. I think all religions are beautiful, but my grandma, she does prayer beads every single day and morning, and I think this is like a very grandma thing to do. And I've done this a couple of times where you basically just hold it, and then there are 108 beads here, and you just count them. And I think that's so fun. And you can say like a goddess's name, and I'm really into more of these female goddess archetypes. And like there's Isis, there are all the Hindu goddesses. I've always been such a fan of Greek mythology. I read Percy Jackson and I was obsessed. You can ask me a lot about Greek, like I'm actually like I really love Greek mythology, and like I love some of the, I mean, if you really look into it, a little bit is wonky, and some of them are kind of funky, like Zeus and Hera being siblings and that kind of stuff. But all in all, I think it's still beautiful. And, I think as a woman, just understanding perspectives and understanding how to sync with your body from other women is something that I'm really still learning about and trying to do. And there's a lot of misogyny, there's a lot of patriarchy, but when you have these equal opportunities, you owe it not just to yourself, but to your entire lineage to make the most out of it and to do the best that you can. Not in a way where, you know, you're harming yourself or you're going too hard on yourself, but in a way where it's like you get to do so many things. You get to follow and chase after your dreams. You don't need to have any man, any guy in your life to accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. That's such a blessing. That's such an honor. And I hope and wish that you honor that and just chase after your goals and your dreams and do everything that you want to do. Do everything that your heart desires. And you might think, okay, well, I don't know what my heart desires. That's when you sit down with pen and paper and you write whatever it is that you want. I would say this is how I did it. I pretty much reverse engineer my life. So basically, the end goal, I thought about this and I was like, this is the end goal. Like, I love, as of now, I want my life to look like this in grave detail. Your routines, where you live, who you are, what your hair looks like, go full on, like you're making a story, you're making a movie, okay? And then from that, you reverse engineer. You can use ChatGPT, whatever you want, right? Reverse engineer to your daily habits, your routines, and that really sets you to accomplishing that goal. Because if you want to live a life that's, you know, you're fully financially free and you're living your best life, a lot of that requires a business. A lot of that requires investing. A lot of that requires not just having one source of income, but multiple sources of income. So these are certain things that you need to look into and get into and learn about. So yeah, and so that's what I do in the mornings. And then I just go about my day and do whatever I do during the day. And I love wearing robes. I would highly recommend all women to invest in robes. I saw this one TikTok of this lady saying how wealthy women wear robes. And it makes sense because if you think about it, right? Like when you're in a robe, you just feel like at peace. You know, you're not in a rush. You know, you're just enjoying whatever the day has and you're putting on makeup and your skincare. And I think that's such an elegant way to start your day. And so doing these self-care things really, really help. And yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at mentally, which is very funny because if you notice or look at like how like some of these old videos in 2024, I was in such a hustle, self-improvement mindset. And now I'm more like going with the flow with life because I think that's just how you have a peaceful life. And that's what I want. You know, I really, really want to have a peaceful, beautiful life. So those are kind of the things that I'm doing. And if there's more, I will definitely list more. If you have anything that you're doing that you want to share or mention that's been really great in your life, I would love to learn and I would love to incorporate some things into my life as well. But yeah, so you will see me quite often and I hope to see you. Actually, I can't see you, but I hope that some of these things helped you and that you're going to incorporate some meditations, some movement. I'll link them below, like the ones that I really love. There's a lot that I love and I'll link all of them. But yeah, that's all for this one. Bye. Love you.